Hi folks, I just thought I'd give just a little update in the preparations for sabbatical walk. Hopefully you've had a chance to have a look at the route that runs from St Bees all the way over in Cumbria, all the way over through the lakes, through the Downs and through the moors into Robin Hood's Bay. 192 miles if you don't get lost. And then it's obviously a few more miles, so look out for that. No doubt that will happen at some stage. But as I'm preparing, I thought I would just update you slightly about the wild camping part. You know, anyone who knows me will agree that I think that all tents should have a hotel room attached to them. But I want that extra challenge of, you know, carrying what I need for the journey. And so I'm going to be wild camping all the way across wherever I can, whether that's in a remote part or maybe in a campsite somewhere. I'll see as I go along. So I don't like camping at all, but it has to be done. So I've chosen this one. It's a Sol 100. It's a very light one. I've chosen it because it's really light. But one thing I did do is I got rid of those, you know, those little silly tent pegs, and I've gone for something a little bit more substantial. I don't know a lot about camping, but one thing I do know is that I don't want it blowing away during the middle of the night. So I've got some different tent pegs. So you're going to have the delight of seeing me trying to put this thing up, and I'll show you the kind of thing that I'm going to be sleeping on as we go. So hopefully this will go smoothly. We're about to find out. So I'm going to follow the instructions as we go. So if it goes wrong, it goes wrong, but I reckon it should be not too bad at all. So I'm going to open the bag. We've got a couple of parts and some, oh yeah, I can feel we've got some poles and another part here. These are the silly tent pegs that it comes with. You've all come across them before. You know, you try to push them in the ground and they end up breaking or bending. So I'm going to just put those to one side for a moment. Fortunately, the instructions come sewn in, so I don't have to worry about too much. So first off, it says we need to assemble the poles and lay them parallel to the ground. 2 poles, one long and one short. So we're going to have a go at that first. 2 long and 1 short. So I've got the poles here. The instructions say the whole thing should be, you should be able to get the whole thing up in about 7 minutes, which sounds great, but I wonder what that's going to be like if it's raining and the wind is blowing, and I'm desperate to get out of the cold and the wet and just get a bit of sleep. But we'll see how long that takes. So I've got a couple of poles. Funny old shape. Here's one. Ooh. So there's one. So I'll lay them on the ground, and here's the long one. It is really long as well, it's huge. Let's have a look what we got here. We'll undo this. And it says the next bit we have to do is open the outer and inner portions in the required direction. Insert the poles through the pole sleeves on the outside of the inner. Doesn't that make sense, eh? You slide your poles in the outside of the inner. Locate each, right, okay, that look, it sounds, probably sounds worse than it is. So I'm going to put it over here so you can see what's going on. I think that's the this is the inner, so it goes on the outside of the inner. Yeah, very simple, very easy knots. Oh, here they are. That must be a short bit. We'll put that one in first. I love this idea of about 7 minutes. Probably going to take me about 7 hours by the look of things. So hopefully I'm going to have to bed down earlier than most people. It's always a worry whether that's going to break. Right, that's one. And we'll do the second, which is a longer one. I think what I'm going to end up doing is practicing a few times, putting up a tent. Mainly not because it's going to make it any easier for me, but it might stop people laughing as I'm doing it. Always worries me whether they're going to break those tent poles. Seem to put a lot of strain on them to try and get them into the right holes. Oh my word, it's a little bit scary. I'm sure these people know what they're doing when they design them and make them, so whoop. 7 minutes I reckon I'll be lucky. So that one goes in there. Still saying, really, 7 minutes? How on earth are you supposed to do that? Oh, we are. It's bending over now. I've got to say, they did make it sound a lot easier than that bit is. Hey, you're there. So we've got our poles in. But I've got to say, don't fancy sleeping in that much as it's like that, but we'll see what the next bit says. So we stuck the poles in, got that done. Locate the end of each pole, yeah, done that, done that. Peg the rear point of the inner tent. And then carefully extend the tent forwards, then peg the 2 front corners. Peg both of the poles through the rings. Right, okay. So let's have a go at that. So now we're going to peg it out a bit. So I'm going to use these new pegs because I think they're much better. I'm not going to push it all the way through because I'm not going to hammer them down into the ground because it's not going to stay up today. So. Right, come forward. Still wouldn't fancy laying in that. I hope it gets better as we go along. All right, open that fly sheet and position that on the inner doorway and the fly sheet doorway correspond. Okay, that looks easy enough, so I've got to find the door. Aha, found the door. Let's push that one out a bit, hang on. helps. Oh, I think we're getting somewhere now. I'll use these little ones just to peg out front. Ah, we're getting somewhere. Well, look at that. Well, folks, there you go. I don't know whether you can see it, but it actually does look like a tent. I think it's okay. So the next bit I got was an inflatable mattress. I saved you the saved myself the embarrassment of blowing it up online, because anybody who knows me knows that even if I blow up a balloon, I get extremely lightheaded and laugh constantly. So I've got one of these silver foil. Oh my word. Oh, it's gonna be funny because the mattress is bigger than the tent, so it sticks out a little bit, but I'm sure I should be okay in doing it. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the inside. Hold on. So that, folks, is the inside. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be praying that it isn't too hot, because it feels like 200 degrees in there at the moment. It is so hot. It's hard to see what you can see at the moment, but this is where we are. That is my sleeping quarters for the next 3 weeks. And the great thing about it is I'll keep reading the instructions as I go to bed to make sure the next time I put it up, it's going to be fine. What's it like on the inside? So I'm on the inside. It's about 300 degrees in here. The sweat is now pouring off of me. But it's going to be all right because the ground sheet is sewn in, so hopefully no water will come in. It's supposed to have a little bit of an air vent somewhere, but I don't know where that is, because my word, look at this, I'm dripping, and it's just laying in here. So hopefully, actually it doesn't feel too uncomfortable. And if anybody knows me, they know I can sleep on a sixpence. So I should be able to sleep at least. I was just looking at the time, 17 minutes. 17! What happened to 7? But there you go. I will learn, I will practice, I will put this up and down a few more times before I go away in 3 weeks, just to make sure I'm capable of doing it. But let me tell you, wow, it is hot. Very, very hot.